Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle. And I have been reading the story called The Promise, written by moi, of course. And without itching, let's get right into the story. It was the day of the naming ceremony. The entire village had been invited, along with the many family members who had flown in to celebrate the birth. The lodge has its spacious grounds were alive with movement, children chasing bubbles, elders sitting beneath the shade trees, and loved ones exchanging hugs and stories. It was a celebration not only of a few lives, but of family, community, and hope. Tessa stood on the front porch in a flowing ivory dress, the baby swaddled in soft yellow linen in her arms. Ben stood beside her in a cream button-up shirt and dress pants, one hand on Brent's shoulders and the other lightly on Tessa's back. Brent, in a linen shirt and dark jeans, looked more alive and young than ever, his eyes glowing with pride. As the sun began its slow descent, Greg stepped forward as the event's informal emise. He topped a wooden spoon on a glass. Family, friends, villagers, and those who have become our tribe, welcome, he said with a broad smile. We gathered here today to celebrate the gift of life and give name to the newest light in the Olin family. A quiet cheer rippled through the crowd. Greg turned towards Tessa and Ben. Would you like to share her name? He asked. Tessa smiled, kissed the baby's cheek, and gently took a step forward. We have chosen a name that speaks to what she really means to us. The name is Ayana Grace Allen. A collective woo rose from the guests, followed by clapping and some happy tears. Ben cleared his throat. His voice thick with emotion. Ayana means beautiful flower, and she bloomed in the season of healing and joy. Grace, because that's what brought her to us, said Ben. Brent stepped forward. Next, holding a hand-painted wooden plaque he had made in the art class, Ayana Grace, carved into it and decorated with vines and gold leaf. I made this for her room, he said. He's strong, so she'll always know how much she's loved. Everyone clapped and Ben pulled Brent into a hug, their band undeniable. After the name was introduced, the elders were invited to speak blessings over the baby. Laura, Tessa's stepmother, spoke first, holding back tears as she placed her hand gently on Ayana's head and whispered, May your path be strong, little one, and may your heart remain soft. Ben's sister Tessan then stepped forward with her two children, who sang a short lullaby in patois, of course, a Jamaican blessing for protection and wisdom. The room fell still as their voices rose and fell in gentle harmony. Finally, the celebration exploded into music, dancing, and food. Tables were spread and laden with jerk chicken, sweet potato casserole, cornbread, fruit tarts, and so on. Tessin and Laura helped serve, while Nora and Nick tend to the toddlers with juice cups, making sure that they did not spill or to wet themselves. Tessa sat under a long oak tree with Ayana nestled in her arms. Ashley and Julie joined her, fanning her gently and feeding her bits of cake. Greg grabbed his guitar and played a soft acoustic melody, while Sam and Michael passed glasses of sparkling cider, raising a toast to Ayana Grace, light of this beautiful family. As twilight descended and fairy lights sparkled to life, Brent sketched quietly at the edge of the celebration. In his book, a drawing of the ceremony of Ayana cradled by a circle of family with love pouring out from every face. And in that moment, the Allen family, surrounded by kin of every corner of their lives, felt more complete than ever. Night had dropped itself gently over the village, a velvet sky scattered with stars. The Allen Lodge glowed softly from within, lamplight spilling through the windows like a hush, warm and golden. The celebration of the naming had passed, the last guests having trickled out hours ago, their hearts full and their laughter still echoing faintly in the night. Inside all was calm. Tessa lay nestled on the oversized couch in the den. Ayana's asleep on her chest, her tiny breasts warm against her mother's collarbone. A knitted shawl, Mrs. Jones' handiwork, was draped across Tessa's shoulders. Her eyes fluttered close, now and then opening only when Ayana gave a soft sigh or stirred. Ben moved gently around the room, picking up empty teacups and folding the baby's spare blanket. He wore a soft navy robe and slippers, his face serene, though his heart swelled every time he looked at his wife and daughter. Every few moments he paused just to take it in, the sweetness of Ayana's cheeks, the slow rhythm of Tessa's breathing. Brent was upstairs in his room, but his door was cracked open. Inside he was sketching again, this time a moonlit version of the day's ceremony. In the corner of the page, he was trying to draw Ayana's hand curled around his fingers, tiny and trusted. From his window, he could see the outline of the porch where earlier his family had stood to speak her name into the world. Downstairs, Greg had left behind his guitar, still leaning gently on the arm of a chair. A faint scent of cedarwood and lavender lingered in the air. Remains of the celebration mingling with the quiet sound of a lullaby playing from the record player in the corner. Ben moved to the couch and carefully lowered himself beside Tessa. Sliding an arm around her, she smiled sleepily, not opening her eyes. "She's still out?" he whispered. Like a starfish," she replied. Ben chuckled softly, kissing the corner of Ayana's head. "We did," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. The log in the fireplace cracked. Outside, the night breeze rustled the trees gently, and from the guest room, the muffled sounds of Nora and Nick, quietly playing cards with Kimberly and her brother Joseph, drifted through the house. The family was here. The village was calm. And life, for the first time in a long time, felt full and right. Brent came downstairs just as the clock struck 10. Barefoot and holding his sketchpad. "Couldn't sleep?" asked Ben. "I just wanted to sit with you guys," answered Brent. Ben patted the couch and Brent folded into the corner, leaning against Ben's side, looking at his new little sister. "She smiles when she dreams," he said, voice full of wonder. "She probably dreamt of you," Tessa murmured. Together the family sat in that circle of warmth and quiet. Ben, Tessa, Brent, and baby Ayana, wrapped in the perfect night. And outside, the stars continued to shine. The days after the naming ceremony settled into a gentle pattern at the Allen's Lodge. Life was quieter now, but no less vibrant. Each day felt like a new beginning, and the house pulsed with the subtle joys and surprises that came with a baby in the home. Ayana was just over 2 weeks old. Her cries had begun to find their rhythm, usually around 2 a.m., then again at 5. Aunt Tessa and Ben had perfected their tag team system. On the nights when Tessa fed Ayana, Ben would warm a blanket or rock her forward, whispering soft lullabies. He never thought he'd sing. On other nights, Ben would walk the floor with her as she nestled into his chest, her tiny hands gripping the fabric of his shirt. Tessa had taken to sitting on the porch with Ayana in the early mornings. The still and mist rising off the garden. She hummed softly, sipping tea while the baby dozed against her swaddled and content. Sometimes Brent would come, John quietly, and sit beside her, with his sketchbook of course, drawing her in profile, with Ayana's head on her shoulders. "I like mornings like this," he said, once barely above whisper. Tessa smiled, brushing Ayana's curls. "Me too. It feels like the world passes just long enough for us to breathe." Inside the house, Brent had fully embraced his new role. He helped with bottles, changed diapers awkwardly at first, but now with quiet confidence, and took over morning chores without needing to be asked. His room have a new addition, a framed photo of the family from the naming ceremony, and a little crochet stuffed turtle for Ayana, which he declaimed as guardian of the crib. One rainy afternoon, as soft thunder rolled in the distance, the family gathered in the den. Tessa laid curled on one end of the couch, Ayana sleeping in her wrapped. Brent sat across-legged and the floor, organized paints, and Ben was reading aloud from a warm copy of The Wind in the Willows. "Do you think she'll remember any of this?" Brent asked suddenly, glancing up at Ayana. Ben lowered the book and smiled. "Maybe. Not in her mind, but in her heart. I think she'll always know she was surrounded by love." Brent nodded slowly. "I want her to grow up knowing we have got her. All the time." Tessa looked over at him, her eyes glassy with affection. "She will, Brent, because she has you." The rain deepened outside, tapping against the windows. In the kitchen, a kettle began to whistle. The lodge was warm and full, with the kind of warmth that came not just from fire or blankets, but from the steady glow of a family coming into their own. Life with a newborn was far from easy. There were sleepless nights, worries, overfeeding, shadows, and moments of sheer exhaustion. But ever cool, ever tiny yawn, ever accidental smile made it all worthwhile. And together, the Allen, Ben, Tessa, Brent, and baby Ayana moved forward, one quiet love-filled day at a time. Through the stars. It was late September. The wind in the village had turned crisp and moody. Leaves scattered the porch of the Allen's lodge, and rain had begun to visit more frequently. Life with Ayana had gradually found a rhythm. Naps, feedings, playtimes, and on the floor with Brent's hand made mobile spinning slowly overhead. But one morning, that peaceful rhythm was suddenly broken. Tessa awoke with chills and a tightness in her chest. Her head was burning with fever that caused her to wince every time she moved. Ben rushed to her side, concerned within hours. Their midwife, Sandra, confirmed what they feared most. Tessa had developed a severe infection. Wow. Likely from a small tear that hadn't fully healed after birth. They needed to get her to the hospital right away. Ben, always anchored, moved quietly, calling in his mom to watch Ayana and Brent, arranging for Ashley to stay at the lodge, packing Tessa's essentials. But inside, he was unraveling, seeing Tessa curled in pain in the passenger seat. in of the truck was something he'll never forget. "I'll be okay," she whispered, gripping his hand, while he can see the tension of the pain in her eyes and her face. "Just come back to me, my love," said Ben. At the hospital, the infection was worsened. At the hospital, the infection was worse than they had ever imagined. And we will stop here for now. And if you have reached this far in the video, thank you. Appreciate you for being here. But don't forget to thumbs it up. And if you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting on? Subscribe already now and become a part of the Simple Michelle family. And to do it the right way, watch, like, subscribe, and share. Yes, and you over there, yes, you. Stop looking around, I'm talking to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And like I always say, Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. So whatsoever you find to do today, do it to the very best of your ability. Bye-bye.